Welcome, everyone, to the Replace Your Income with Options podcast. And today I have a co-host, and I'm really excited to introduce my co-host. It's Mark Savant. Hey, Mark, how are you doing today?
Casey, I'm great. I'm so glad you asked me to come on the show. We've known each other for quite a while, and to see you thriving here, it's just a real honor to be here.
Yeah, I was really excited to bring Mark on because I have been good friends with Mark for a long time. I was on his podcast and he invited me to an event. He gave me a free ticket. We shared a room together. We hung out. We became friends, and we've been friends ever since. That's a great way to do networking. But, just to give my audience a little feedback about Mark, some insight. Mark's a podcast host. He's got a great YouTube channel that he's been working on for years. It's Mark Savant. That's the name of it on YouTube. He's also got a great newsletter about AI, and he's focusing on the future of AI and for business professionals, for men, on how they can really capitalize on it. And I wanted Mark to co-host the show because he's a great guy, and also because we want to talk about how to replace your income with options and how the key methods are not always what we think they are, right? Because I know that a lot of people that are listening, they're thinking, well, I need a new strategy. I'm trying the market and I need to get rich, and I need to get rich quick, and I need a new strategy. And, I'm sure that Mark will talk about this, but in the business world, people are thinking the same thing. If only I could get the next new tip. If only I could get the next hot AI bot, the next AI tool that would, dominate the search engines or hack the algorithm or whatever it is. Everybody's looking for that shiny object and for that shortcut. But I was watching an old Jim Rohn seminar from 1992, and I actively spend time improving myself all the time. And for you listeners, take the time, listen to some of those old tapes, go back and read books, study, watch Mark's YouTube videos, educate yourself. Like that, I am still doing that all the time. But Jim Rohn said that cumulatively your gains make a big difference, or on the other side, your destruction. And his example was, if you eat a Hershey bar every single day versus if you eat an apple, when you're grabbing that snack, what do you grab for? If you grab a Hershey bar once, tomorrow you're going to feel okay. But if you grab it every day for 6 years, what's going to happen in your life? What's going to happen to your body? What's going to happen to your mental state if you grab that Hershey bar for 6 years? And, Jim used the story of 6 years because that's when he made his mental change, and he was broke with zero in the bank. And when he made his change, 6 years later, he became a millionaire from cumulatively making the right decision. So Mark, I wanted you to kind of explore that concept with me today on the show, on how it applies to life, to our business, to options trading, to replacing your income, because a lot of people that listen to my show, they think they're here for the strategy. And I don't really always want to give them the strategy. My strategy is great, but you sometimes think you need something when you really need something else. So Mark, why don't you share a little bit about the concepts that I just kind of introduced, and then also your journey with YouTube and business success and how that's impacted you.
Well, I appreciate that, Casey. And I really love what you've said about the power of compounding interest. James Clear, Atomic Habits writer, had this really, I think, important idea. I read this a few years ago where he says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And it's these small compounding deposits that we make day in, day out that really add up over time. You've probably heard the concept of doubling, of the penny doubling. Have you heard this concept before?
Yes, many times. Yes.
And it's just so good. I think, if you walk up to someone on the street and you say, would you, I can give you $1 million today, or I can give you a penny that's going to double in value every day for 30 days. Most people are saying, just give me the $1 million. Why are you giving me money? But right. If you were to take that penny that's doubling every day, by the end of day 30, you'd have over $5 million. And I just think this concept is so powerful. Most people have no idea that this is a thing. And, Albert Einstein also had a great quote. He says that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, and he who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. And the reality is 99% of people are paying the compounding interest.
Yeah, and when you're eating that Hershey bar, you're paying.
That's right.
When you're not going and working out, when you're not walking, you're paying. Paying, your body's paying.
That's right. A lot of people, on my YouTube channel, I'm talking about all the trends that are happening in AI, happening in the workplace, what's happening with H-1B visas. Why is Microsoft laying off tens of thousands of people? Why are auto dealerships using AI instead of SDRs and customer service reps? And it's just shocking to me how many people are just unable to wrap their minds around what's happening in AI. I had a comment the other day on one of my videos. Someone said, well, I work in a warehouse and a robot can never do what I do. I'm like, well, I don't know if you've noticed this, but Amazon warehouses now have over 1 million robots. They are almost at the point where there's more robots in warehouses than humans. And that doesn't happen overnight, Casey. No. This happens over a long period of time. It does not happen overnight, but one day you hit this inflection point where the compounding interest of the robots takes over.
And you wake up without a job and you haven't been working on your skill sets, right? You haven't been educating yourself. You haven't been reading and studying and trying to up your skill game, right? Because in the future, in the AI world, we got to work on our skills, right? Our skills are important. And I say this about AI. I love AI, by the way. And sometimes I'm not being critical here, but sometimes I see your headlines because I just love what you're doing. But I get a little discouraged. It's like, this dude is a doom and gloomer. Just because it's like, 1,000 jobs lost, this and that. It gives me a lot of doom and gloom. But to be fair, I don't always watch the whole thing. I read the headline and then I'm like, oh man, I'm depressed. But I'm actually excited about it because it makes me more efficient. So if I work on my skills and I use AI as a tool, I'm more efficient. So for the people that are in my training courses for Replace the Income with Options, I use it for my options trading. It makes me more efficient. I work on my options skills, but then I utilize AI as an assistant to help me get better. It's not replacing me. It's just helping me as I develop my skills. If I don't develop my skills, AI is not going to help me. What do you think about that?
I think a lot of people that decide they don't want to really embrace the idea of what LLMs and artificial intelligence can do as far as an efficiency are too scared. It's too big of an idea. The way that we operate in the professional workplace is completely transformed. It's completely changed. And I'm of the opinion that I don't know where I'm going to be at in 10 years, but I know that I'm going to have to reinvent myself and my skill set every 2 years for the rest of my life. I'm just going to have to keep reinventing myself.
And Mark, just to be totally clear here, that's always been the case for successful people. That's not a new concept. It's probably more important now because of AI, but successful people have always done that because you've heard the quote, if you're not growing, you're shrinking, right? It's just, if you're not going forward, you're going backward.
Well, and I think, over the past 40 years, the method to success has been pretty straightforward. It's like go to college, get married, buy a home, that's to my 401k. And then by the time I'm 60, 65, I can relax on the Riviera. But just what we're seeing with inflation, what we're seeing with cryptocurrency, what we're seeing with artificial intelligence and AI and the Magnificent Seven, having basically 30% of the entire S&P 500's value, we start to, I just think we're in a very interesting time in human history where there will be great pitfalls, but also great opportunities for the people that are putting in those daily deposits into themselves, into their equity, into their wives, into their children, into their spiritual world. It's those daily deposits that I just think really add up. And Bill Gates had a really interesting quote. I'm not a huge fan of Bill Gates myself, but he had a really good quote where he says that people overestimate what technology can do in 1 year, but they underestimate what technology will do in 10. And I think that really translates well to this idea of compounding interest and like, nothing's happening. Oh my goodness, lots happening. A lot is happening. And it's just hard to see that growth when you're in the middle of the weeds.
So true. Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that it will happen so fast, but it wasn't really happening fast, but we just think it is because we're not aware of what's going on. And the same thing happens with personal transformation. I'm going to keep reminding the listeners to keep tying this into replacing your income with options. I'm teaching people how to get financial freedom, replace their income with options, because people that actually have been doing what I'm teaching, it happens in an instant. But it's not a get rich quick. And so let me explain it, right? When it happens in an instant, it's like you're maybe breaking a wall. Like imagine you're breaking a hammer, you're breaking a hammer. Every single time you hit that thing, a little piece comes off. And you're just going and you're going and you're going. And you think that nothing's happening. But every single hit gets you closer to your breakthrough. And then one day you bust through and the whole wall comes down and you're free. And it happens so fast.
I love that. I mean, you asked me about the context of YouTube, and that's kind of how it's been for me in my journey. I started recording YouTube videos about 7 years ago. Terrible, absolutely terrible at first, as everyone's chart. And I just kept grinding. I just loved it, kept grinding it, putting in the work, the time, the effort. I had some mild success, but nothing ever big happened. And then about 3 or 4 months ago, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to just talk about artificial intelligence in the jobs market. I'm going to pop out. I'm not going to do this highly edited stuff that's expensive and time consuming and requires all these systems and processes. I'm just going to walk and talk on YouTube. I'm going to plan out and talk about what's happening in the AI markets. And I just started doing that. And for the first few videos, nothing really happened. Nothing really happened. I was like, what am I doing here? This is different. Nothing's really happening. All of a sudden I woke up one day and it's like 10,000 views. I was like, that's interesting. Maybe I'm onto something. And what I noticed, Casey, is that I would have videos that did really well and some videos that didn't. By the way, the videos that talk doom and gloom, they do better. They do better.
And that's the thing I don't like about YouTube is because they force you to do content that people like. And people will like candy. They like Hershey bars. So it almost forces, like I'm a trader, right? If I talk about a get rich strategy that's going to blow up your account in $1 million, I'm going to get millions of views. But if I talk about invest $1 a day, I'm getting nothing.
Right. Well, and people don't really understand that. And they say, oh, that's clickbait and you're manipulating the algorithm. It's like, listen, I can't control what people click on. It's human psychology. Right. People, we're more prone to avoid fear.
Right. So I have to like trick people. It's kind of like putting the medicine inside of the sugar, right? It's like, here, take this sugar, because I want to educate people to the truth. I don't want to just give them these instants. Even if you do get rich quick, you're going to crash and burn because you don't have the foundation to handle. You don't have the capacity to handle wealth. You don't have the capacity to handle these things.
That's right. And it's a balance, because people want the Ozempic style solution to their problem. When it's like, you got to eat a bunch more carrots, you got to eat the protein, and you got to exercise. People don't really want that. There was a guy who went super viral recently in the fitness world. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but anyway, he would just show his six pack and say, you don't need to run to do this. You don't need cardio to do this. You just need my secret system. And
he's a millionaire, right?
Crushing it.
Yeah, but he's also, that can't be real. He's lying because he has to be working out.
I mean, the guy's 29 years old with an 8-pack. He's got some genetic stuff going on. Yeah, he's not.
I'm gonna follow him. I'm gonna spy out where he's lived and follow him to the gym and take pictures of him. This guy's working out.
I'll tell you, he's not 45 with 3 kids working a 60-hour work week. That's not his lifestyle.
And Mark, that's the people that I want to help because guys like us, it's harder for us because life takes its toll. You have all these great dreams and visions and all this, but you know what? Life catches up and it's hard. It's hard to eat that apple every day. It's hard to work out every day. It's hard to make that video every day. It's hard.
It is. And honestly, a lot of, I don't really do a lot of this anymore, but I was doing YouTube and podcast production for years. People would come to me and say, hey, Mark, I want a podcast or I want to do YouTube. And I said, no, you don't. No, you don't. You want leads for your business. You want to generate more revenue for your business. You don't want to wake up and record a podcast 1 to 2 3 times. I know because I've seen how many people say they want it, but what you want is the result. There might be a better way to get to that result. Let's assess the time commitment, the financial commitment, what your goals are, what are some benchmarks that we couldn't put in place to get to those goals, and let's actually assess what you actually want to do is. And I'm just going to give you one more example on this. I was working with a client recently, and one of the employees in the organization said he wanted to take on this project. He wanted to do YouTube videos, and he said, I'm going to record 100 YouTube videos. I said, wow, that's exciting. It's a lot of work. He's like, oh, no, it's not that much work. I just record it and post it. I was like, well, why are you wanting to do this? And he's like, well, I want to do it because we need to do it. And I said, well, why? He's like, well, it's common sense. I said, why? It's like, well, because we need to be on YouTube. And I was like, okay, well, how do we measure what success looks like? He says, we would measure success by having 100 YouTube videos finished. So, but like, why? And he's trying to, I have a meeting with him and the rest of the leadership team later the day, but that was kind of the point, is like, we need to understand why we're doing something.
But I still don't get it, because just having 100 YouTube, like, there's got to be another result. Is it just a vanity metric? Like, I did it, like, that's it. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. There's got to be a result. And if your result is leads, I need leads. Yeah, maybe there's a better way than doing 100 YouTube videos. Maybe
That's right.
Pay a lead gen guy to get you leads. He'll pay you you pay him $100 per lead, and he gets you a great lead.
That's right. I mean, the size of a project like that is tens of thousands of dollars to produce that kind of content. Well, what if we put that into Meta ads, or into Google ads, or into podcast ads, newsletter ads? Maybe there's a better way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to go back to your, because I want to kind of make sure I'm staying on point with this whole staying consistent cumulatively over a long period of time gets you the results that you're looking for, right? So you were making YouTube videos not because of any other reason other than getting results. When I'm teaching people, hey, we're going to replace our income, we're going to invest $1 a day, we're doing it so that we can get results. So let's go through that journey of you starting YouTube. You did it for 7 years, but it didn't have success until really recently. Even when you made that switch and you were getting no results, how did you keep pushing through? Did you have like a cutoff point, like where you said, I'm not going to, if I do 30 days and this is a dud, I'm done? Like, how did you go through the doubt and keep moving and stay consistent through all of that?
Well, content creation is a really tough thing, Casey, because the common belief is that if you just keep posting, eventually it's going to work. And, even Mr. Beast has said, hey, guy, people ask him this question all the time. Hey, Mr. Beast, you're the biggest YouTube star in the world. I want to start a YouTube channel. What's the biggest tip? And he says, go out and record 100 videos and make each one a little bit better than the last. And the reason he says that is because he realizes that almost nobody's going to do that. And the few people that do record the 100 YouTube videos they're not going to have the same question anymore. They're going to have it figured out. So again, this is why I've really kind of transformed the way I think about YouTube, newsletters, content creations. We got to have a goal in mind. We need to know where we're going. We need to have that vision. We need to be making those deposits and understanding where they're getting us. But the reason I think this is interesting now is because when I look at what's happened on my YouTube channel just over the past 90 days, for example, I've got 1,000% more subscribers than the previous 90 days, 1,000% more watch time than the past 90 days, 1,000% more views than the past 90 days. And not every video hits, but what I'm seeing is that there's a compounding interest in the size of the videos that spike. You mentioned the other day I had a video that hit 24,000 views. Well, the video before the previous video was about 15,000 views. So I'm just saying, okay, what's the next video that's going to spike? Is it going to be 50,000, 100,000, 1 million views? So it's putting together those formulas that work, continue to hit that rock, and then just watch these big spikes happen, and then have a system on the back end to capture it. At least that's the way that I look at YouTube.
So during your phase, was discouragement setting in? Did you realize that it was going to be a cumulative process, that it was kind of like what Mr. B said, the 1% a day. Did you keep a big picture mindset? Did you have a cutoff point where you're like, oh, I'm not doing this if I can't have success in 30 days? Because like you said, just posting forever, I've actually seen people post a video a day. There's a guy that I watch. He's got like 2,800 videos, and he's not that big. He's not bad, but like you can post every day and it's not going to be a miracle always.
Well, and then I think, at least in the context of content creation, is you're maybe doing the daily habits, but you're maybe missing a couple parts, a couple habits that are important.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how often are you reviewing how often are you reviewing the results of the A/B tests on your thumbnails? Right.
So was it a matter of reviewing results? Did that help you keep pushing on when you were doing this experiment to start doing the walk and talk segments?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. And it becomes pretty obvious once you have that process in place. Once a week, I'm going to sit down with the people on my team. I'm going to review what's working, what's not working, what can I double down on. And again, that's, I noticed that when I, certain topics that I talk about they just get a lot of attention. And to your point, I still sometimes fight that, because I don't want to just be doom and gloom. I want to talk about good stuff, practical
You're
stuff.
a cheery guy.
Listen, even if it's not as popular as like talking about Trump banning H-1B visas, which was one of the more recent videos that exploded, or Microsoft lays off 15,000 employees, popular video. Yesterday I posted a video because I had a great conversation with a guy that manages and runs a ton of auto mechanics and auto dealerships in Florida. And he was explaining how they're using artificial intelligence to receive phone calls, to book appointments, book meetings, how they're using AI to automatically create proposals and send them out to customers, how they're using AI for diagnosis. It's unbelievable what they're doing with AI. Right. And I knew it wasn't going to hit. I still did it because I thought it was important. It's important to my goals, and it's important to what I want to.
You know what, Mark? Because your hits are bigger, your misses are going to be bigger, right? Like if it doesn't trigger, and here's what's great is that you have a voice, and there are people that really want to hear what you have to say because you're doing a great job. And so those are the people that are going to watch the video that isn't going to hit, and they're going to benefit. They're going to benefit greatly from that, because that's where you're giving them the real insight, the real education, the real tools in their hands to be successful in this AI world.
That's right. That's something that you mentioned to me when my videos started really popping off, was that, hey, Mark, it's good that you're getting attention. You're pinpointing the negative, you're pinpointing the problem, but you need to also offer a solution to that problem. There has to be a solution to the problem. And I think highlighting the wins, because, I mentioned that in this day and age, it's really about reinventing yourself regularly so you can keep up with what's happening. And what we're seeing, at least when it comes to firing and layoffs, is a lot of companies are laying off thousands and thousands of employees. And then they're realizing, oops, we have gaps. The AI is not able to solve this problem, or it's leading to a negative customer experience. Klarna had this problem. They laid off 45% of their customer service staff. And they're like, oops, we need to hire back now. So what I'm looking at is which companies are laying off and then not hiring back because they figured something out.
Yeah. And I think so. We'll shift this to income with options. We need to be prepared. Everybody needs to be prepared, because this new world, you don't know. You need to be building your skills, right? You think your job is secure, and I'm not trying to be fear and gloom here, but you think your job is secure, and all of a sudden it's gone, right? And so that's why watching my videos, listening to my podcast, signing up for my course is putting another skill set in your tool belt to help you generate income, right? And everybody needs to do that. Everybody needs to be upgrading their skills, because I feel like the economy, at least via the stock market, I think we're in for a big boom, Mark. And it's not necessarily meaning that people are going to be in better shape financially, but I think the companies are going to be in better shape financially. Why? Because they're going to make big profits and they're going to have less labor because of AI. And so the stocks are going to go up. The jobs might go down. And so that means people will be suffering, but stocks are going to go up. And so, because the stock market is not what's really happening in the economy. Look, let's use that market as an advantage. Let's make 1%. Let's make 1% a week. I'm teaching people how to make 1% a week, which is not blowing up the world. Like, look, that's $100. You take $100, that's $1 profit. Like, do you think you can make $1 if you invest 100? That's nothing. It's so easy. It's so low bar. And sometimes people that are listening, like, what would I care about $1? But, you just cumulatively do that. You do $1 a day, $1 a week, it adds up. It turns into $2 for it. Just exactly what you said on the front end.
Sometimes even more than that. I'm a disclaimer, this is not financial advice, but a few months ago I was talking to you, and when I saw what you're doing, I'm like, this is looking pretty good, Casey. I was like, I started up my Robinhood account, started investing $10 a day, and I'm up, I think, 35% over those daily investments, which was sick. But I had said, where should I start? And you said SoFi, get into SoFi. And that stock has tripled since I started putting in. I was buying shares at $10 a day. Now it's up to 30, 35.
Wow. Okay. We need to go to the next level. So here's what you need to do now. If you own shares, do you have over 100 shares yet?
I do not have over 100 shares.
Okay.
No.
When you get 100 shares, this is how we create income, is we sell an option on it. And so when you get over 100 shares, you'll sell a call. And selling a call means that you'll say, if SoFi gets to $40 a share, you'll sell a call at 40, right? That means they'll pay you $10. They'll give you $10 in your account. And then you agree to them to sell them the shares if SoFi gets to $40 at a certain date. So you go out like 60 days. So they'll say, I'll give you $10. And then you'll agree to sell them SoFi for $40 a share in 60 days. If SoFi drops, you keep the $10 and you keep the shares in price if it stays below 40. If it goes above 40, you sell them the shares at $40 and you keep the $10. So either way, you keep the $10, but on one outcome, you keep the shares, and the other outcome, you lose the shares. But since you'll be in so much profit, by the time SoFi gets 40, your profit level is going to be huge. It doesn't really matter if you sell them because you're selling them at a nice profit. And so then now you're like, oh, I sold all my SoFi shares. Now what? Well, you just go find something else to do that again. And that's where the 1% a week comes in. You just keep selling those options and you're multiplying your revenue over time. And it's just all about being consistent with it.
Yeah. But what if, we're going to a live coaching session here. What if the stock doesn't reach the $40 during that time? Then what happens?
Well, then you just keep your shares. And as soon as it expires, 60 days are up, you sell another call. And you can sell it for wherever the stock price is, wherever it's $35, 40, whatever the strike price, they call that the strike price. Whatever the strike price is where you sell it. So again, that's actually a great scenario for you. Either one, it's a win-win, right? Either one, because you like the shares, hold on to them. If not, sell them and do it with something else. I'm not married to holding anything because I'm income hungry. Right. All I want to do is sell those options. That's it.
Well, historically, my investment style has been, just put it into the S&P 500 and then just let it sit. And then one day when I'm 70, I'll be able to take the money out. That's kind of been my strategy, but it doesn't lead to a lot of velocity and cash flow either.
Mark, based off of what we've been talking about today, where it's like, yeah, I'm going to invest at $10 a day. Like, that's beautiful. That's just so awesome. Or a week or whatever. Did you say you were doing a day?
A day, $10 a day.
Because that's just like eating that apple a day. That's like working out. I'm telling you, the velocity, even without selling any options, your velocity is going to be insane. right? It's just going to be because it's like that story of hitting that hammer and breaking through. And the next thing you know, it's just exploding. But using options is like pouring gas on that strategy. Because not only now you're not just investing $10 a day, but you're selling an option and making an additional $10 a day.
Well, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. I want to learn. I'm hungry. This is an important time in human history, and the people that know the tricks are going to win. We're going to go. I know you're optimistic, and I'm optimistic too about the future. But I do believe we're going to go through a period of great chaos. We are going through a very chaotic time.
Okay, tell me the time and date so I can add that to the calendar.
That the chaos is going to hit?
Yeah.
It hit like 3 months ago.
My last 2 years were very chaotic, so I need to get ready. No, but you know what? That's good. The better we are prepared for these things, and I'm not like a doomsday prepper, okay? I'm not like that. But I think that each one of us should be doing these things that we can do to build up good health, to build up wisdom and skills, to build up cash flow. Why? Because we'll be able to keep our lifestyle, but we'll also be able to help others, right? We'll be a source. It kind of goes to the scripture that says, you're going to be like a mighty tree planted with deep roots, and in dry seasons, your leaves will not wither.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I think this is particularly important for men to understand, not because, I hate women or anything like that. But, as men, we are called to provide for our families. It's like our great calling. And my concern, and the reason why I touch on job loss so much, is because I'm concerned that many men are going to lose their ability to provide for their families, and they're going to lose the respect. They're going to lose relevancy in the workplace. They're going to lose the respect of their wives and their families and their friends, and they're going to lose the ability to be financially free and provide. And I can see it coming very clearly like a freight train. And I just really want to kind of wake people up to what's happening in the professional workplace, and in the you tackling the financial systems. Like we have to be aware that this is happening. It seems big, it seems scary, but those small deposits daily are going to prepare us and keep us relevant so that we are able to provide for our families.
That's good. So today we got a double bang for the buck. The listeners got a financial piece on how to invest, replace your income with options, and they got the AI side, like build up your skills, right? Do what you can to stay current. There's 2 things that we can work on here, and that's good. That's really good. I love what you're doing. Keep it up. And we're going to wrap this up. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of key takeaways for people to listen, to get. I just want to remind everyone that I do have a coaching program that I am just launching that I'm really excited about. I'm teaching high net worth individuals in a group setting, having conversations like what me and Mark just had on how to replace their income rather quickly. Because if you have an account, an investing account of about 50,000 or more, you can replace your income really quick, right? Much faster than if you're starting from nothing. And so I have a coaching program geared at those types of professionals. And if you're interested in that, just check the link on the program. It's in the description. And also I want to encourage everybody to go check out Mark on YouTube. What's your YouTube, Mark?
Find Mark Savant on YouTube. Mark Savant is the channel.
I'll put the link in the description. Thanks for tackling this subject with me today, Mark. I really appreciate it.
It was a blast, Casey.
All right. Well, that's it for this edition of How to Replace Your Income with Options. Get out there and take action. Don't just be a listener. Take action. Change your life. Change your mind. Start replacing your income with options. Start building your skills. Do something today. I don't care what you do, but just do something. Start making a difference. All right, that's it, everybody. Wait, one more thing. I've been getting some great feedback from the show. People have been leaving fan mail with the mailbag, and it's so encouraging. When you guys leave a comment, I'm not actually able to see your email and reply back. I wish I could, but the stuff I have been reading has been so cool. It's actually posted on the website. So thank you for your comments. And if you guys have any takeaways, please feel free to share. All right, now that's it. That's it for today. We'll see you all. Bye.